Hello and welcome back to another video of Straight to the Point, a series where I pack as much information as possible into a condensed video. Today's video is going to be talking about how you can abuse your camera control, more specifically your Alt key, in order to gain an advantage in Rust. In Rust, if you hold down your Alt key, you can freely scout around you whilst running in a straight direction. This gives you info that you otherwise wouldn't have, and by not doing this, you're essentially wasting resources. The level that I'd recommend scouting left and right depends on many different factors, but a few things to keep in mind is that when you can see quite far in front of you and there's no objects that people could jump out of, then there's very little point in looking directly in front of you, and you should be spending more of your time scouting left and right. Especially when I'm farming the road, I like to always scout left and right, specifically because of barrels. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you play in groups, your teammates are likely going to be looking forward anyway, so if you're all looking in one direction, then again you're wasting a whole lot of resources. Of course, this is not to say that you should be constantly scouting, but it's a good thing to keep in mind that you should be doing every now and then. It's also important to note that by using the Alt key, you can look left and right whilst maintaining a full sprint forward. Compared to this, if you were to actually look left and right without using the Alt key, you'd be running much slower as you'd constantly be having to go left and right. Also, when enemies are trying to get the jump on you, they can't actually see that you're spamming your Alt key, as your head will face forward regardless of where you're looking. This gives the opposition a false sense of security, as they think they have the jump on you, when in reality you know exactly where they are. You can take this a step further and actually bait out opponents by purposefully looking away from them and then Alt keying to look to see where they're running. This is a clip from a previous video, but as you can see here, my body's facing north, but I'm Alt keying to look exactly at my opposition. They get a false sense of security and blindly charge toward me, allowing me to get a clean spray down because they don't know that I know exactly where they are. The next way that you can and should abuse your Alt key is if you look directly down and crouch, your head will actually duck, but then you can hold the Alt key to look directly back up again, and everything will look exactly the same. This will allow you to crouch spam in order to gather information about enemies that you otherwise wouldn't have, also whilst keeping your head down but being able to see the opposition. Most of the time, the opposition will barely be able to see the tip of your head, and if done correctly, they won't be able to see you at all. Over any ledges, you just spam crouch and look downhill, and when you have the low ground, you just want to spam jump whilst doing the exact same technique of looking down and then Alt keying up. Whilst running away from people with bolties or L9s, unless you're wearing full face mask, most of the time you're going to be a one-shot headshot. So if you look directly down, your head actually will duck as seen previously, and you'll be able to avoid a lot more headshots. Of course, it's a little bit difficult running when you're facing directly down as you can't see where you're going, so again you can use the Alt key in order to gain an advantage. You can also use the Alt key to do better side-to-side peeks, however it's definitely a lot harder. Here's what a regular side-to-side peek looks like, and if you use your Alt key to face forward and then look to the right, you can do something like this where only your back's showing. It doesn't give you much of an advantage in terms of how much of your body's showing, but if you do it correctly, you can hide your head a little bit this way. Finally, I just wanted to show you how strong it is when you use this with a half wall. As you can see here, I'm just scouting out for some information. Then I look down and press my Alt key. And as you can see, my vision is exactly the same as before. However, this is what it looks like to the opposition. As you can see, nothing above that half wall is actually peeking out, and the opposition won't even be able to see you. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about Alt keys and how you can abuse them. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I hope to see you in the next one.